Okay, so the time is about 12:34. I'm going to visit my uncle right now. And that's a lot of noise. Man, everywhere is scorching hot, man. Shit. I just made about 3 YouTube videos regarding about breaking this book, the 48 Laws of Power. I made three. I feel like that was too much, but I'll count only two and leave the third one because I'm not entirely sure I'm not sure I poured the right energy into that video. Oh, everywhere is hot. I need to turn on the air conditioner. Let me see. Where is this? Okay, noise translation is on. Okay, so let me see what's this weekend is going to be a very stressful weekend. Let me look into my notes. Let me see if there's anything that I wrote down. Because I kind of like have some thought processes that I write down, and I hope to discuss it with people when I'm driving or something, like a drive with me something, like a drive with me or something. Okay, I can see some nice social media likes coming in. Let me see. Yes, so yesterday I was listening to a podcast with Chris Williams and Hamza. Then Chris Williams made a statement that he was quoting Sam Ovens on. So if you know Sam Ovens, right? Sam Ovens is about the Godfather. Is a Godfather. I won't say deep, but I'll say a Godfather in this self-improvement space and something. And to be very honest, I would say Sam Ovens has contributed enough to shaping my game, the way I see life, the way I do some things, right? He's been very, very productive on everything. Productivity, life advice, how you should carry yourself, and all those things. And so I had to make all of that reference first, so for you to get this statement. And he said that. He said, basically, now I've heard this statement similar, but it did not hit me right now. He said, he said he stopped making those. So he said he saw Sam Ovens. I asked Sam Ovens, why did he stop making those YouTube videos? And Sam's response was that he stopped making the videos because the things that he was saying in public, he had to live up to it in private. And which is one reason I think I make my videos in a way that when I make them, because it's coming from me, it's easier for me to embody those ideas more. So he said that every single thing he said in his videos, which is in public, he had to live up to in private. And it was at that moment that it hit me that yes, that is it. And he got tired, right? Because whether I like it or not, and this is something that I think you're going to understand very well. When you take this whole idea of self-improvement and you're only optimizing, you get tired. Why? The reason you get tired is because you're not going to enjoy the pleasures of life, right? Because life is going to be boring. You see, life is okay for life to be boring if you can actually kill the desire for fun, right? So if you can kill the desire, but if that desire remains there for a while. So for example, I saw a bottle of soda today, right? I had the desire to drink it, but I said no, I'm okay, I'm good. And I told myself that at some point, if I still have the desire of drinking this particular soda drink, right, I'm going to have a problem later. Although I'll figure out how to help you kill desires later, then I discovered that the source of that desire was the fact that these guys have billions of dollars on ads, all sorts of ads, online ads. So maybe I could be seeing their ads almost everywhere. That is, although the desire has reduced because I have watched little ads lately because I have reduced the way I scroll on social media. But I also realized that the reason I was craving that particular soda brand was because I had it around in my house. I've had it for about 3 to 6 months now, right here, because I could have a bottle of drink, and it's mostly for my guests, basically. So I'm slowly coming to this attitude of maybe getting rid of this completely. But so where I'm going to is that he had that desire to do some things, but he never did them because my mic was covered up. He never did them because he had to basically tell people to live up to a certain kind of life. And at some point, it's going to get boring. You're going to get tired. And whenever you live your life that's opposite to what you're saying, especially if you're somebody who is true to your words. You're going to feel a level of disdain, a level of ick. You're telling people to live a certain way, right? Saying that is how you live, but yet there's a desire for you to live the other way. So another example now is you see people who preach about not being a simp end up becoming a simp because why? For some strange reasons, they have that desire to be a simp. They desire something that simps also desire. So when I'm going to life is I'm not telling you to simp, what I'm telling you is that if the desire is there, you should learn how to kill it, not drag the desire along. Because the further you drag a desire, the larger it gets, and the more control, the more you would give into it. On the other hand, this is what I suggest, right? If you're in that self-improvement space, you're trying to optimize your life for you're trying to optimize your life, that is happiness, health, wealth, materialistic things. One thing you should do is, from time to time, give yourself a treat. Let me give yourself a treat is, have all these things that you desire once, like very, very once in a while, not a usual thing. So for example, if I am craving soda, which currently I think I have a little craving for it, I'm not trying to I'm trying to of recent times, from time to time. Now, if I'm aware that craving is there, I'll figure out how to kill it, because I'll talk about that in a different video. But what I will do, what I will recommend for anybody, hold on please. What I will personally recommend is have certain period of time where you have that soda. So for example, it's I think it's the same thing that goes for habit stacking, right? You're rewarding yourself. Perfect. If you see it more as a reward, that is when you enjoy it more, as compared to taking it every single day. So now somebody will look at this statement and say, okay, if a godfather in self-improvement, a guru in self-improvement / business is saying that he's tired, why shouldn't they give up? And this is the reason, is that I've noticed, right, because I have been a beginner in so many topics, I've noticed this, that whenever I force myself to do something, whenever I'm learning something, at that initial stage, it's difficult. At that initial stage, there is inertia. Inertia meaning that the amount of force or concentration I have to put into that thing is the highest, right? Because why? I'm new to it. There's a level of energy I have to bring. The level of energy I'm bringing to it is more than the level of energy. It's more than the level of energy that I would have brought to it on normal grounds if I become a master at it. So you get the point now. So to other people, you are still supposed to bring that much energy. Yes, it's the same way you tell people who have never worked in their life, you need to work 16 hours. It is not clickbait. Yes, you need to work for you need to work for 16 hours. However, the moment you get the gist of it, you don't need 16 hours anymore. You don't need to do 8 hours anymore. You can do, at some point, obviously, you need to taper down on the amount of hours you do. That is as you are getting good at it, right? As you get better at it, you begin to practice less. You begin to do less. You begin to rely more on your subconscious practice. This is where mastery. This is how mastery comes in place, right? There seems to be a queue at the filling station where I'm trying to get gas. So I'll say this over and over and over again. If you are new to something, the amount of effort you have to put into that new thing is at its highest. Later down the journey, you don't have to put that much anymore. So now Samuel Evans has put in so much effort in practicing what he preaches. The key word there is practicing what he preaches. A lot of people are new to this space. Their lives have not been optimized. So what that means is they have no choice, right? They have no choice but to live in accordance to that preaching. So yes, and that's one reason I hold on to this self-improvement space and my ideas, because it's also, I know that if I'm putting these ideas out, right, and I have integrity for myself, what that means is it's going to make me it's going to force me to step up my game in reality, because I don't want somebody calling me out for preaching what I do not practice. So yes, I'll tell you that there are different stages, and he's at the stage in the journey where he doesn't really need all of those self-improvement techniques anymore. Most of them are already subconscious, right? But a lot of people have not gotten to this stage. And if they have not gotten to this stage, it is not wise. It is not a wise choice, right? For people to take that advice. They're not in that stage. That is why they tell you things like, I stopped hustling for 16 hours every day, and things began to work easy for me. That is because you have passed that stage where 16 hours is no longer important. And I also discovered this whenever I'm doing like hybrid fitness, right? Whenever I'm learning a new stroke in swimming, I get to see that the way my trainer or my coach puts that pressure on me to make certain body movements feels very, very tiring. But one thing I have at the back of my mind is it's intentional. I am training my body to become better at it. I am training my subconscious mind to get better at it. When my subconscious mind does it automatically. So right now I'm doing MMA. One thing I'm learning how to do now is to stand lightly on my feet. Right? I shouldn't lock my knees, keep them downwards. I should always be standing in a way that I'm somehow prepared to move if there needs to be a situation that requires me to move. At this point now, you'll be getting the gist. Yeah, at this point. So yeah, same thing. I think also Leon Hendricks made this statement about him meeting Sam Ovens, and Sam Ovens making the same statement about how he has given up on the self-improvement kind of stuff. But you, on the other hand, do not think of giving up, because there is a high chance you are just starting out. So you need see this way. There's a bell curve. Perfect. There's a bell curve. There's a bell curve to everything. When you get the gist, is most likely going to be the highest point of the bell curve. So it works this way. You are new to something. It takes intense amount of energy, 16 hours of work, hard stroking, hard physique, to climb up, a lot of mindset drag, to climb up that bell curve. When you get the gist of it, you are at the peak of the bell curve. You no longer need that idea anymore. At some point, you might begin to decline in that thing. Not really decline. I will not use the word decline because it may sound derogatory, it may sound insulting, but you may need to taper off. You need to go lightly on it because you get the point. You're at the peak already, so it's like a downhill. So you spend 16 hours, you get to the top, right? And you see that you don't need to work 16 hours anymore. The work you're doing probably need like 4-5 hours, and that's before you know it. Over time, your time you spend working keeps reducing. Because to be very frank, you can't be working forever, right? Working 16 hours forever, your body will break down. You can't be working for 18 hours every day, your body will break down. If you're doing that, it's most likely because of passion. It's what you feel like doing every single day when you are awake, which is different from what most people are. Most people are doing jobs or businesses that is strictly for the money. There is no fun, no pleasure in it beyond money. So I really hope I'll be able to give you different instances. Let me see if I have another instance. Same thing when it comes to talking to women, right? I think I like the way Alex Omonzi puts this idea in his book. He says, when you're trying to get the $100 million leads, though, when you're trying to get leads, right? You start with getting more leads, right? After getting more leads, you aim to get better leads because you get better at creating leads. So you're spending less time creating these leads, and you're spending more time on tasks that are leveraged, right? Leverage task means that you don't spend your active conscious mind on it, or active, you are delegating and you are coordinating everything together. So that is basically the point I have today on this video. I really hope that I've been able to convince you on the reasons. Alright, so that's it. Thank you very much. If you stayed this far, I always say that it's pretty obvious that you're someone who takes yourself serious. So I recommend that you share this video with somebody else. Let's gather people who take themselves serious, people who are like-minded. Let's build a community. Let's talk to men who are on this idea of self-improvement. So thank you very much. If you stayed this far, you are real G. I hope you enjoyed the ride with me, because I basically may have to end this and then start another video.